Daily Ascent. I'm Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast I always wish existed. A bite sized, on the ground, spiritual note that can shift your thinking and your outlook on life to help make us all a little bit more awake, alive, and ascending. So I'm still thinking about the Lisa Rankin article that we talked about yesterday. It's gonna be like a little bit of a two-parter, but not really. And it really made me think about something that a healer once said to me that I think about almost every single day and why it matters now more than ever. So I used to go to this spiritual healer named Evan. He was sort of like a spiritual advisor, and I ended up with him because I had been really burned by a previous one. And, as happens in life, I had given my trust to someone who didn't handle it well. And I was left feeling raw, disillusioned, like the way we feel when our trust has been broken. So when I started seeing Evan, I was in a period of my life where it was a long time ago. I basically had very minimal emotional sunscreen. I was sensitive to everything. I was taking offense to everything, everybody, the way someone looked at me, what someone said, what they didn't say. Everything felt like an attack. And so every time I would come into Evan, like hot about the way somebody had done me, right? He would just look at me and he would say the same thing. He would say, Molly, healers are humans. All literally, Molly, healers are humans. You gotta remember, healers are humans. I found it so annoying at first, honestly. I didn't want to hear it. I wanted him to be like, yeah, they wronged you. Yeah, that is so annoying, right? I wanted him to like validate my outrage. I wanted him to tell me like I was right, they were wrong. He was not interested in that. He literally just kept saying that, like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. And it wasn't just about him, like it was about everybody. And he was teaching me and reminding me that no one, not a teacher, not a therapist, not a healer, not a coach, not someone I follow on Instagram, is perfect. And that my expectation of perfection from other people was actually setting me up to be perpetually disappointed. And again, I want to be super clear here. Evan was talking about like garden variety human imperfection. He wasn't like excusing abuse or exploitation. I mean, there is a line, and our last episode was about that line. But he was pointing to something that I think a lot of us do without even realizing it, right? We idealize people, we elevate them, we make them bigger than they are. We look at someone, a teacher, a leader, someone with a big following, someone who seems to have it all together, and we project onto them a kind of authority that they never actually earned. As I've said on the show before, we compare our insides to their outsides. And that gap between what we feel inside and what they are appearing to be on the outside, that's where we lose ourselves. And so this is not just about spiritual teachers. Like, this is about everybody and anybody. This is about your friend who always seems calm, or the person on Instagram whose kitchen looks spectacularly clean, or your colleague who never seems flustered. Like, we look at these people and we unconsciously hand them a kind of power. We make them the standard, we idealize them, and then we make ourselves the one falling short. We sort of devalue ourselves. And I would say most of the time, I don't even know that we're doing it. And so I was reading about this guy. He's going to be our pocket sage today. And his name is, I hope I'm saying it right, Jiddu Krishnamurti. So in 1929, this guy, Krishnamurti, he had thousands of devoted followers who just believed that he was here to lead them to truth. Like, he had an entire organization that had been built around him. And in 1929, he stood in front of 3,000 of them and he dissolved the entire community. And this is what he said: I maintain that truth is a pathless land, and you cannot approach it by any path whatsoever, by any religion, by any sect. I do not want followers, and I mean this. The moment you follow someone, you cease to follow truth. I am concerning myself with only one essential thing to set man free. That's deep. I'm going to read it again for those of you in the back. I maintain that truth is a pathless land, and you cannot approach it by any path whatsoever, by any religion, by any sect. I do not want followers, and I mean this. The moment you follow someone, you cease to follow truth. I am concerning myself with only one essential thing to set man free. I mean, this is a long time ago. Having 3,000 followers was big, big, big deal, right? And like these people would follow him anywhere. And he gave the power back, which I think is what true integrity from a teacher really looks like. So, our word of the day today, it's a great word, sovereignty. Sovereignty is your right to be the final authority in your own life. Not your teacher, not your healer, not your guru, not your husband, not your wife, not your sister, not the person with the blue check mark and the beautiful feed. You. Sovereignty doesn't mean you stop learning from people. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. It doesn't mean you become cynical or closed off or suspicious of everyone. It just means you stay in the driver's seat, right? You're the architect of your experience. You take what resonates and you leave what doesn't, and you trust yourself to know the difference. I really believe, like, I think we severely underestimate how often we give our sovereignty away. Not dramatically, like, not all at once. That would be really noticeable, right? But in little teeny slices, right? Like we read someone's post and immediately we feel like we're doing life wrong, or we hear a teacher say something and we override our own gut because like they must know better. When we stop trusting our own experience because someone with more authority told us something different, that's giving away our sovereignty. And sovereignty is what's left when you stop outsourcing your knowing. So, here's the problem, ascenders. We live in a world that is inviting us to make other people our authority. That's social media at its core. That's wellness industry at its core in many ways. And honestly, even the people who love us do it sometimes without meaning to. And we certainly do it to ourselves. We scroll, we compare, we despair, we see someone's curated outside and we measure it against our messy, complicated inside. And I can guarantee if that's the way we're going to do it, we're going to come up short every single time. But what I want to remind us of is that that comparison is a lie because what you're looking at when you see someone's outside is a performance. I've been a therapist for 25 years. Like, I really know this to be true. And listen, their performance is not always a dishonest one, but it's always a performance, right? You're seeing what they've chosen to show you. And then what you're feeling on the inside is like a full, unedited, unfiltered truth of being a human being. So those two things were never meant to be compared. And Evan, my healer, was not just telling me to lower my expectations. He was telling me to stop making other people responsible for my inner experience, to stop looking at them and deciding that I was less than, or to stop handing someone my power just because they seem more put together than me. You know, and here's the thing I want to be super honest about. I mean, I'm in a teaching role on this podcast, right? And I take that really seriously. And I also want to be really clear with you, Ascenders. In 25 years of therapy and coaching and being a healer, I have made so many mistakes. Big ones and small ones. And I believe fully in reparations and in amends. And all I can do is think about that Maya Angelou quote, when you know better, you do better. And I never want to be someone that you stop thinking for yourself around. If something I'm saying isn't sitting with you, trust that. Please trust your gut over my voice. Trust your experience over my opinion. That's not me being humble. That's just me doing my job because a real teacher doesn't want your blind faith. A real teacher wants you to find your own truth, even and especially if it's different from theirs. And that's what Krishnamurti had with his 3,000 followers, he gave them their power back. And that takes so much integrity, right? And listen, from your side, here's what it looks like, right? Learn from everybody. Be moved by people. Be inspired. Let teachers open doors for you. But you walk through those doors yourself. You don't let anyone carry you. Because the moment someone else is carrying you is the moment that you've forgotten that you have legs. And so here's our reflective question for the day. What are you giving someone else authority over that actually belongs to you? Hmm. And listen, diet culture is one of the worst in stealing your power. I know this from 25 years of doing this work and 20 and 48 years of being in this work. You know, letting a number on a scale or a set of rules written by someone who doesn't know you tell you who you are and what you're worth. I mean, that's real sovereignty work, I promise. And in my stop starting over system, the whole point of it is to give you your power back, right? Just taking your authority back from diet culture and trauma and putting it where it belongs with you. And so if you're curious about that, I would love to talk to you. I'm obsessed with you. So you can either get a direct link to the call in the show notes, or you can learn more at mollycarmel.com. And I am right here with you, Ascenders, learning that the most powerful spiritual tool that we have is the one we were born with, which is our own discernment. And if this episode spoke to you, can you send it to someone who maybe needs to hear it? I really want to grow our Ascender crew. The more, the merrier. We rise together. Until next time.